The Australian Open women's semifinals are set, and we're now one match away each from a clash between world number one Aryna Sabalenka and Iga Swiatek. Paula Badosa and Madison Keys will be the obvious underdogs here, but can they prevent the first Sabatek Slam final? And then also, while Swiatek's quarterfinal rout of Emma Navarro was very one-sided, one moment in particular has a lot of people talking. I'll delve into the latest double bounce brigade as well. Hey, I'm Christian Bassnight, and welcome to Christian's Court, where I cover tennis from all angles. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post more content throughout this Australian Open. Iga Swiatek has looked by far the most dominant women's player at this year's Australian Open. She has not yet dropped a set, and she's hardly been losing games out there. Iga just beat 8th seed Emma Navarro 6-1, 6-2 to reach her second Australian Open semifinal. This was Emma and Iga's first meeting on the main WTA Tour. They played one time before at a Futures event in 2018, where Iga only managed to give Emma 2 games, but this time Iga was a little bit more charitable. She gave her 1 extra game, so props to her for being so kind and giving. I think this match showed us that this is a bad matchup for Emma, as really Navarro doesn't have that many weapons to hurt Iga, and their games are a little bit similar, but Iga just seemingly does mostly and everything better than Navarro does. Emma's forehand, which is her biggest weapon, simply doesn't penetrate nearly as much through the court as Iga's forehand does. And Iga was just dictating a lot of the baseline exchanges, finishing with 22 winners to 20 unforced errors. Iga's defensive skills have also been a major asset for her throughout this tournament, and they were on full display in this match, as it was hard for Navarro to get the ball past the world number 2. That being said, I believe this match was much closer than what the scoreline says, the 6-1, 6-2 scoreline. Emma pushed Iga the distance in many games, especially in the second set, but just could not come out on top. Navarro already faced an uphill battle playing against Iga, who's playing some of her best tennis right now. But to make matters worse, she was robbed out of a point at 2-all add-in for Swiatek in the second set. Navarro hit a drop shot, which Swiatek barely got to, and Iga ended up winning the point. Navarro questioned the chair umpire and asked her whether or not it was a double bounce call, and she was right when the TV replay showed that Iga clearly did not get the ball back up. But when Navarro asked about there being a video replay, the chair umpire said that under the rules, Emma would have had to stop play immediately to challenge the call, and she wouldn't be able to do anything since the point had already finished. I disagree with this rule, because if it's a double bounce call, then it should be their point. Like, that's a literal point that you're taking away from someone. I think there should definitely be a little bit of a modification in that rule, because if you're playing the point, you also don't want to risk, stopping play and then ending up being wrong. It's no wonder why Emma continued playing the point. It really should be on the umpire and her being able to make the right call. She didn't. Judging from Iga's reaction after the point, you kind of got the vibe that she might have known that it was a double bounce too, but I don't think that she was 100% sure, and I don't believe that she should receive hate. It's not her call to make after all. It's the umpires again. Iga said in her press conference that she couldn't tell whether or not it was a double bounce or not. Meanwhile, here's what Emma had to say about it in the post-match press conference.
And yeah, I asked her after the point if I could see a replay, and she said I played it, so I couldn't. I think it should be allowed to see after the point, even if you play. It happens so fast, and you hit the shot, and she hits it back, and you're just like, oh, I guess I'm playing. And in the back of your head, you're like, okay, maybe I can still win the point, even though it wasn't called, and it's going to be a downer if I stop the point and it turns out it wasn't double bounce. So it's tough. I think we should be able to see it afterwards and make that call.
Again, I fully agree with Emma. Let me know in the comments too if you believe that players should be able to challenge the double bounce call even after the point is finished. Now, despite the drama, I don't think much would have changed in terms of the outcome, as Iga was simply too good. And to me, with how she's been playing, I think she might be the favorite for the title. I know there's been a discussion about, her draw is weak, is this, is that. But she literally dismantled a top 10 player in Emma Navarro 1 and 2. Also, she can't control the draw. It's it's like a pendulum thing. Last year she got a brutal draw. This year she got more of an advantageous draw. You can't hate the player, hate the game, honestly. Iga has only dropped 14 games total en route to the semifinals, which is the fewest games that a woman has dropped en route to the AO semifinals since Maria Sharapova in 2013, when she dropped just 9 games. Up next for Swiatek is an interesting test, and that is American Madison Keys. That's going to be her semifinal opponent. Keys came back to defeat Alina Svitolina 3-6, 6-3, 6-4, and not only does this mean that she's back into the Australian Open for the semifinal for the 3rd time in her career, but she will make a return inside the top 10 once the tournament is complete. This was a great effort from Maddie because it wasn't looking too good at first. I was like, oh my gosh, Madison is just giving this match away, but she kind of reined it in a little bit more, and she finished very well with 49 winners to 41 unforced errors. So you can tell the match was won and lost on her racket. Keys also now improves to a 10-match win streak, as she did win the Adelaide 500 coming into this tournament. So she's riding very, very high on confidence at the moment. Keys has made some notable changes in her game lately. First, her serve. Instead of doing the normal platform serve that she's done throughout her entire career, basically, she moved away from doing the platform serve and now is moving that right foot to the left whenever she starts to push off and go up, and that's helped her land further into the court and get her body momentum further forward, which adds more MPHs behind her serve. Also, a big change too, she changed rackets, went from a Wilson to a Yonex racket, which she says gives her more safe power and an easy power as well. And we've noticed the difference too. She's been a little bit overall more consistent and more playing within herself. Also with the serve, she's been serving smarter as well, not going for the big booming first serve all the time. A lot of times she's been doing the kick serve as the first serve, and it's been a very effective play for her. But the question is, will these changes be enough to beat Iga and reach her 2nd slam final? Iga leads the head-to-head 4-1, and all 5 of their matches ended in straight sets. 3 out of the 4 Iga wins came on the clay, which obviously favors Swiatek even more. She also claimed Iga did a comfortable one-in-love win over Keys at Indian Wells in 2022, which does play more in Swiatek's favor as well, as the courts in the desert are more slow. Keys' lone win over Iga came at the Cincinnati Open in 2022, and those courts play very fast, and definitely it aided Keys a lot more. Also, it was a time when Swiatek was kind of struggling with her forehand a little bit more. Keys' power will be new for Iga in this tournament. She hasn't faced nearly a player who hits as hard as Madison Keys does. Iga's defense, though, will be something that Keys has to contend with, because Iga's defense right now is kind of unmatched low-key. Maddie's serve will definitely need to be on for her in this match, and that's another advantage for Keys, is that Maddie will be the best server that Iga has faced, so that's going to be a challenge for Swiatek as well, to kind of adjusting to the bigger serve and the kick serve as well. I think Keys has a bit of a chance, but I'm going to be going with Iga to take this one 6-4, 6-3. I picked Iga because, first of all, this match will be played at night, and it has been said that the night conditions make the courts play a little bit slower, which of course I've established favors Iga more than it does Keys. And then while Keys will offer Iga a new challenge, I believe Wim Fizette, Iga's new coach, will have her better prepared for the power of Keys. We saw when Iga played Elena Rybakina at the United Cup, she handled that a lot better, and she got the win, the straight sets win over Rybakina. I also believe Iga will have the mental edge here. Maddie is, I think, 1-5 in Slam semifinals, and she's had some rough losses at this stage. Maddie probably knows that she doesn't have too many cracks at an opportunity like this, while Iga is extremely solid in the latter stages of slams. Now, looking at the battle of the besties between Aryna Sabalenka and Paula Badosa, Aryna really isn't coming into this Final Four her usual dominant slam self. She was tested in rounds 2 and 3 by Buzas Monero and Clara Towson. Her best performance by far came in the 4th round when she dismantled Mira Andreeva 1-2, but in the quarterfinals, she dropped her first set at the Australian Open since the 2023 Aussie Open Finals against Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova, and she had to fight back from a break deficit in the decider to ultimately come out on top of that one. Badosa, meanwhile, she earned a hard-fought win over Marta Kostyuk in the third round, which was her lone lost set of the tournament. She then gritted past Olga Danilovic in the fourth round and then Coco Gauff in the quarterfinals. The Gauff win was very major for Badosa because, of course, Coco was high on confidence, was undefeated, won the United Cup, but also this marked her first Slam quarterfinal win for Badosa. You could tell how much it meant too for the Spanish woman. Sabalenka leads the head-to-head between these two 5-2, and she has won their last 5 meetings. 4 of those 5 meetings were on the clay, and their lone hardcourt meeting was in Miami last year. Badosa has been serving pretty strong throughout this tournament. She's been hitting her spots well, and she was particularly successful on her second serve against Coco, and she won 63% of her second serve points. And I think that that'll definitely need to be on more against Sabalenka, who will take adequate advantage of any weak second serves. While Badosa has a solid ground game and can make things shake on both wings, I think her power is simply no match for that of Biglenka's, and it'll still be on the 2-time defending champ's racket. Sabalenka also said in her press conference that she's excited and very much looking forward to playing her best friend in the semifinals, and that to me shows that she enjoys playing Badosa. Like, she simply enjoys the game style matchup of playing the Spanish woman. I don't think that it's the same sentiment at all for Badosa, and I don't think she enjoys playing Sabalenka because Sabalenka will test her. And one thing about Badosa, she doesn't respond well whenever she has a lot of pace coming towards her. When she has time, she's dangerous, but whenever someone tests her, especially on that forehand side, she tends to kind of falter under the pressure, and Sabalenka can definitely do that to her. We also know that Paula isn't the most mentally sharp in the pressure moments. She tends to choke in the big moments, and she did a little bit against Coco in the quarterfinals, but Coco was just so error prone that she let the Spaniard right off the hook. Perhaps Paula getting over the quarterfinal hump will help her and free her up, but still, playing in your maiden Slam semifinal is just a different animal. Sabalenka has been in this position multiple times before, so she has the extreme experience advantage, and also with this matchup advantage, I will be giving the edge to the world number 1, and I'll have her taking this one 6-4, 6-4. That is it for my AO Women's semifinal preview, and let me know in the comments what you think about the whole double bounce drama. Also, between Keys and Badosa, who do you believe has the better shot at pulling off the upset? Make sure you again subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post my post-match women's semifinal thoughts. Thank you all so much for watching and for your support, and I'll see you all next time here on Christian's Court.